Welcome back, guys. It's Colin with the Sun Pirates TCG, and we are back with talking about some more Gundam card game. So we've had some news on the Japanese side of things with the reveals from their periodic CGC Link Station streams. So we now know the pricing for the Japan finals, as well as getting some reveals for GD03 Scale Requiem, which is pretty crazy that we're getting it so soon. It's definitely sooner than I was expecting, especially considering the fact that we're only a couple of weeks into GD02. But otherwise, yeah, before we get into it, remember to like and subscribe as always. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. We'll start off by talking about the pricing for the Japan finals. As you can see, it's Grandpa Gundam ST01 Arc 78, the 3-4 with Repair 2. First, second, and third place get that gold, silver, and bronze finish respectively, which is pretty cool. It's very similar to how we've seen it for other Bandai games like One Piece. And then top 16 also gets a playmat with the same artwork of Grandpa Gundam. And then participation, every participant gets a Amuro Ray alternate art, which is pretty crazy all things considered. This is the first time we're seeing an alternate art for Amuro, and the fact that it's locked to a national event such as this, it's going to be very, very desirable. I can say that at the very least, especially considering how strong Amuro is. And they also get sleeves. It looks like it's a 10-pack for your resources with the same artwork for Amuro, so that's pretty cool as well. To my understanding, the Japan Finals is the equivalent to our national event, so I definitely would not be surprised to see the English version of this pricing being applied to our North American finals, as well as for Europe, Latin America, and Oceania. So if that is the case, I definitely am pretty jealous of my friends that are qualified for nationals, as I do not have an invite myself at this point, but definitely exciting to see that, and it's definitely going to be very, very lucrative for both of these cards. But then let's talk about some reveals for GD03. So we have some cards revealed at every rarity, so that's pretty cool. So we'll start off with the common. It's going to be the Gundam Heavy Arms Custom. It's a G-Team typing, so pretty cool that they're now putting cards into the latter half of the Gundam Wing anime. Well, granted, we already have the Wing Zero and Epion, but you get my point. So, it's a level 6/5 cost, 4/5 in stats, very similar to the classic Wing Gundam. It links with Troll Barton, as we would expect, and during your turn, when this unit destroys an enemy unit with battle damage, deal 2 to all enemy units with blocker. Pretty cool effect, very similar to the other heavy arms from the starter deck, so not much more to say there. It's just a common. I don't know if this beats the other level 6 slots in the current Wing deck, like, you know, the Wing Gundam having the Breach 5 and being able to hunt down active units, or the Gundam Death Scythe having the first strike. It's also more expensive than something like the Shenlong from GD01, which can just blow up blockers that are level 3 and lower and still maintain the breach. So we'll definitely see. Tro is also definitely not a very impressive pilot at the moment, although we definitely could see a new one for all we know, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But then moving on to the uncommon slots, we have Full Armor Unicorn Gundam Destroy Mode. He's a level 8 6 cost, 6/6 in stats, very similar to the Gundam Epion, but he's 1 cost cheaper, which is nice. And then it has Repair 3, that's all it does. So right out of the box, it's just a big guy being a 6/6 with Repair 3, which all things considered is pretty hard to take down. It can take down any weenie for free, and then have that Repair 3, and it can just like trade into most Link units, which is pretty nice. With the Banager Link, you get to draw a card, and then it becomes an 8/8, which is really big, all things considered. So I definitely don't hate this one compared to other level 8s. Again, it's just an uncommon, so obviously you can't expect a whole lot out of it, so I'm not sure if this really takes over the slot of something like the Epion that we've been seeing in some blue-white decks. But it's pretty cool otherwise, and I don't know, maybe if there's some sort of like unicorn tribal deck that we can kind of assemble, that'd be pretty cool as well. But otherwise, yeah, it's fine. I definitely don't hate it. But speaking of Unicorn Tribal, there's actually been another Unicorn card revealed, and that is this common level 5 Full Armor Unicorn Gundam Unicorn Mode. It's a 5/4 in stats, but most importantly, like I said, it's a level 5, so you can sacrifice this to the Unicorn Gundam Destroy mode for GD01. So we finally have another copy of Unicorn modes to play in this package, so up to 8 total copies of this card that you can link with Banager, and then do the combo with Destroy mode. Now, unlike the rare, this is just a vanilla, so you cannot fetch back your Banager. You have to like find another copy of Banager to put on your Destroy mode if you try to go for the combo. But granted, in something like blue-white, you're drawing a lot of cards. It's pretty reasonable to have your second Benager anyway, so it's just really nice to have that added flexibility and honestly that added consistency to performing the combo if you need it. But otherwise, this thing by itself, I really don't hate it. It's a 5-4 in stats. It's the same stat line as Kshatriya, but it's one cost lower, which is nice. It can trade into a lot of other link pairs, like if you need to attack into an Ailstrike link pair or an RX-78 link pair. And with the 5 power, it can just bust a base by itself, which is nice. With Benager, it becomes a 7-6 that drew you a card, which honestly 7-6 is pretty darn huge, all things considered. So yeah, even though this is just a vanilla, it still has a lot of things going for it, which I'm really excited to try this one out. And then for another uncommon revealed, we have a machine. It's a level 3 pilot, +1/+1 like we would normally see. During Link on Destruction, if a friendly white base is in play, you choose one enemy unit whose level is equal to or lower than this unit and return it to the owner's hand. It's okay. It is a bit restrictive to pull off that ability. You have to have the white base in play, hopefully your opponent didn't blow it up, and it has to be during Link. And the fact that it's a level 3 pilot, only +1/+1, I'm definitely not a huge fan of those type of pilots, as we've seen so far competitively. But otherwise, it can be fine. If there's more support around it, I definitely would be on the lookout for that as well. So I don't want to make any hard conclusions on this one just yet. And then moving on to the rare that was revealed, we have the Gundam X Divider. So it's a level 6 forecast and 4/4 in stats, so a little bit understated compared to other level 6s. But when linked, you may choose one unit card that's level 4 or lower from your trash, and pay its cost to deploy it, which is pretty cool. It's very similar to Awakened Power, the command from GD02, where you do have to pay the cost of the guy you're reviving. But otherwise, it's pretty cool that we're getting this sort of reanimator unit into the game now. Granted, to get the best bang out of your buck, so to speak, for this one, you will have to wait until like level 7, level 8, level 9 even, to be able to revive something bigger off of it. But even at level 6, assuming you pay 1 for your pilot, that's 5 out of your 6 resources, you can revive, I guess, like a 1 cost 2/2 from your trash. And that's still like 6/6 in stats between the Gundam X and the new body that you produced, not counting the extra stats that you get off of your pilot. So that's pretty nice. It's actually kind of similar to the Justice Gundam, so to speak. So it reads pretty decently. But one very interesting detail about this card that I think we'll be seeing for other units in GD03 is the fact that this one can link with 2 named pilots specifically. So as you can see in the bottom here, I know it's in Japanese, but this one can link with either Gerard Ran or Jamil Neat. Sorry if I mispronounced that. But it's the first time that we actually see 2 specifically named pilots. Obviously, we've had other units in the past that can link with multiple different pilots, like Gun Cannon linking with any white base team. But I really like what they're doing here for flavor reasons, in that, you know, these are 2 characters that have piloted the Gundam X in the show. So the fact that it's now being represented in the card game as well is just a really nice detail that's added. I wish they did that for other units before, like the Gundam Epion. I wish it could have also been linked with Hiro Yui in addition to Zex Marquise. But I understand maybe for balancing reasons why they wouldn't want to do that. But I'm glad that they're doing it now and hopefully moving forward. But otherwise, yeah, I actually think this Gundam X Divider has some potential. Just with what we already have, you can link it with the Gerard Ran from GD02, and you get to use the ability to discard the unit that you want to revive for Gerard Ran's ability. And then the fact that you get to revive anything that's level 4 or lower, it doesn't have to be archetype specific, so if you want to, you can revive certain blockers or small units or even like bigger units, which is really nice. For example, like if you're at level 7, you pay 5 to establish the Gundam X plus Gerard, discard your Elfrith, look at top 3, grab a card, and then revive your Elfrith by paying your remaining 2 resources. So that's pretty nice. There's some cool tricks you can do with that, so I would definitely be on the lookout for this one moving forward. But then let's talk about the first L art that has been revealed for GD03, which is another G-Quux Omega Psycho-Mu. So this time it's a level 8 7 cost, so it's even more expensive than the last one from GD02. It's a 6/5 in stats, so a little bit below the Epion and Wing Zero, but it naturally has suppression, and then on deploy, you choose one enemy unit, deal 3 damage to it. Doesn't care about level, doesn't care about stats or anything, just deal 3 damage to anybody you want. which is pretty cool. Definitely stronger than something like the Shamblo, where you had to like rest two other units to be able to pull off that ability. So yeah, it naturally does what it does right out of the box without a pilot, which I've said in the past for other videos that I really like units like that where they don't really require their pilot to do what they do. So otherwise, yeah, I don't know if it's stronger than something like the Wing Zero where it can just like blast like the whole board, but the fact that it can specifically target level 6 and higher with that 3 damage is nice. The natural suppression is also pretty good as well. But not only that, you can also see at the bottom corner how long the text is for the link requirement. So it actually links with both Machu and Nyan from the G-Quux anime, which is really cool. Obviously, we don't know what Nyan does yet, but it's another one of those units that can link with 2 possible named pilots. Which again, for flavor reasons, I actually really appreciate that. Like, yeah, they could have just said, oh, links with any clan, but maybe Nyan is a different typing for all we know. Again, we really don't know yet. But the fact that it doesn't link with Shuji, which makes sense because Shuji doesn't pilot the G-Quux. So it's like nice little details like that that I appreciate being translated into the Gundam card game. But otherwise, yeah, I think this card's fine. I don't know how strong this one's going to be. It really depends on what other potential clan support, because clans issue doesn't really seem to be the top end, more so the lower stuff that you need to like curve up to get to that point, right? It does have generic abilities that doesn't require other clan units to be in place, so I will give it that, so maybe you can find this in other decks as well, so we'll definitely be on the lookout. And then for the last of the reveals, we have some SP treatments in GD03 for Mikazuki, and with Iron and Blood, we have the new artworks with Orga and Mika, which is pretty nice. So this is extremely similar to One Piece. They've done this in the past already, where, you know, in every subsequent set, there'll be SP versions of cards from past products that have like a new artwork, and they're probably going to be very textured and shiny and whatever. But yeah, this is definitely no surprise considering it's Bandai and they tend to follow a lot of the same formulas. But yeah, otherwise really cool. I do like this artwork. It's definitely something that will make buying product more desirable because people want to pull like these really high rarity chase cards, so to speak. But yeah, definitely something to be on the lookout for moving forward. But yeah, definitely let me know what you think, guys. For GD03, I definitely appreciate that they're continuing to print more cards for existing archetypes and existing themes. So as you can see, we're already getting more development into existing archetypes like Gundam X, Gundam Wing, G-Quux. And as many of you know, for GD03, it's also introducing a huge series with 00 coming out. It's definitely a fan favorite. A lot of people are very excited for it. So I'll definitely be doing coverage on that as we get reveals for it as well. But at any rate, thank you all so much for watching as always, and we will see you in the next one.